Welcome to the Morristown Market Report. I'm Amy Schrader with Remax Real Estate 10.
I'm Kim Swan with Union Home Mortgage.
And our special guest today is Kim Dudash with Dudash Executive Coaching. We told you last week that we were going to start doing this on a weekly basis and we're going to promote local businesses in the area. So Kim is someone that I've known since high school, and I don't know a whole lot about life coaches and what all they do. So we thought we would invite Kim on here, especially with the new year, and kind of interview her and find out more about her business and what she does. So I'm going to ask you some questions here, Kim. Is that all right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. The first one is, how is coaching different than counseling?
That's a very good question. And I get asked that a lot. Counseling basically focuses on past trauma and really resolving the past and overcoming the past. And with coaching, we're really looking forward to the future. What are we going to build so that we can move forward? That doesn't mean that we don't look at things that have happened in our past, but we don't dwell on those things. We let that inform our decisions for how we're going to take that forward and create something new. So that's the difference. Yeah.
Good deal. So you're not trying to get everybody on psychiatric drugs?
No, not at all. I'm trying to help them work through
Tell them
things.
they have daddy issues.
Exactly.
And all that kind
That's
of
right.
stuff,
No, we're going to work through some things and come up with solutions and strategies to move forward.
All right. So who comes to you for coaching? What are your clients like?
So a lot of you said life coaching. So what I do is different from life coaching.
Okay.
Well, I would say what I do is I work with business leaders, C-suite leaders. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't go into some life issues, because a lot of the things that happen to us in life, they affect how we show up every day for our teams and for our businesses. So we do get into some things that have happened or going on personally that affect what comes out to the team or comes out in your business. So it's mostly business leaders, C-suite leaders. I do work with some different organizations, their entire leadership team. We do team coaching. I mean, all of us have probably been in an organization where you have leaders who individually are rock stars, but they can't come together and make it happen. So I spend a lot of time helping teams learn how to work together. And I also do some consulting in the area of leadership and organizational development. So a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, what have been some of the things that you've seen an executive might reach out to you to call? I mean, like, is there a fight in the break room, or, what's been some things?
A lot of the business leaders that I work with, they are maybe being promoted into a new role. Okay. So maybe they've been in a director role within their organization and they've been a rock star and they're being promoted to a VP level. And once they get into that role, they realize that the skills and abilities that they had in that director role are not the same type of skills and abilities and mindset that they need to be successful in this new role. So it's really figuring out what are the limiting assumptions that they have, or the limiting beliefs that they may have, or even just the toxic habits or just bad habits they've created over time that may have worked for them in that past role, but now they don't work in the new role. So how do we figure out what those are, identify them, and then create strategies for how to overcome them, right? And have a new mindset, a new way of being. So
is it the individuals that reach out to you directly, or is it usually the organization?
It's both. Okay. I have a lot of business leaders who have reached out to me themselves. There are a lot more businesses these days who are really focused on providing people the resources they need to reach that next level. So I do have a lot of companies that reach out to me also to work with their high potential leaders. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, what is something they could expect in the first session with you? Like, what some things would you talk about?
So really, I'd be asking a lot of questions to determine, what they're about, what they're looking to do, where is it they see themselves, just to really get an idea of what they're looking for, what goals they have set for themselves. And sometimes somebody is so stuck, they say, I really don't know what my goals are. So we talk about that, talk about how to get to that place. And then I share a lot about, what the process is. Every leader is different. So there's not a set process. So if you came in, it would be totally different from how I would work with Amy because the two of you are so different, right? But we talk about, right? So we would talk about, what is it that you need from a coach? And it's really informal, that first coaching session. And then we'll set up a path for how we're going to move forward. Yeah.
Okay. So with the new year, it just seems appropriate to ask a coach about, setting goals.
Yeah.
What's the key to setting attainable goals?
Well, this is the key is, this is what's really interesting. There was a study that I read just yesterday, and we all know this intuitively, but to really see it from the perspective of statistics and study, that 91% of New Year's resolutions fail before February. And the critical reason why is that we focus on the outward behavior. And what we fail to really pay any attention to is the mindset that drives the behavior, right? So we focus on this outward thing, but what's really going on is something internal. And so we really have to work on that mindset. And so I talk about mindset a lot because our mindset, it affects everything we do. Right? And there are two basic mindsets. And I think it would be wise to think about what those are. There's the fixed mindset, which is basically the idea that I'm born with what I have now is what I was born with. I can't get any better. I can't have any more. And so that sets off this train of thought that I'm not good enough. I can never be good enough. I can't learn new things. I can't do new things. Or even, I don't have to learn anything new. So we start having those thoughts. And that results in basically limiting beliefs, those limiting beliefs that I was talking about, or big assumptions that we have that about ourselves or about life or about others or our environment. We have these big assumptions. We feel like they're true, but they're really not true. So that's the fixed mindset. And then on the flip side of fixed mindset, we have growth mindset. And growth mindset is basically that belief that I can learn new things. I can do more things.
Right.
And we are in control of it, right? I am in control. And so that basically the growth mindset sets off these thought patterns of I can learn new things. It's going to be hard in the beginning, but I know I'll get better with time. Practice makes it better, right? Right. So it sets off those thoughts, which ends up in really giving us that feeling of perseverance, of resilience. I can do hard things, and it helps us be able to take feedback that others give us, and instead of, with a fixed mindset, taking it all personally and getting angry about it, being able to sift through it and pick out the pieces that are really helpful and go forward making a difference. So, I would say if you're in that place where you're wanting to make some resolutions or goals for the new year, first take a step back and examine your mindset and try to determine, am I coming at it from a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? And if you want to build a growth mindset, start with basically reflecting, what are things that I have done in my past that when I started off, I wasn't very good at, but over time, I got better. I mean, and if you have a hard time thinking of something, when you were a toddler, you didn't know how to walk, right? But in time, you learned. For me, I didn't know how to read, but I learned how to read, right? I didn't know how to ride a bike, but I learned how to ride a bike. I didn't know how to work out properly to take care of my body. I learned how to do that, and now I teach others how to do that, right? So think about the things that you have done where you were not very good at it in the beginning, but over time it happened, right? And that will help you build a growth mindset. And then set SMART goals. We've probably all heard of the SMART goal template, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to go through each of those steps. So if you look at the SMART as an acronym, the S stands for specific. Mm-hmm. So you want to set a specific goal. And not just I want to be a better person. That's great. But specifically, what does that look like? You know, try to make it very specific so you will know exactly what it is you're wanting to achieve. And then think about, is it measurable? That's the M in SMART. And measurable is this something that I can track? You know, how will I know what success looks like? How will I know when I have met this goal? Is it measurable? A stands for attainable. So is this something that is attainable? And if it is, then what steps am I going to put in place so that I can actually attain this goal, right? So if your goal is, I want to be more fit in the new year, well, how are you going to do that? Is it attainable, and how are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to exercise more. Well, what does that look like? 2 days a week of something, some activity.
Right.
I'm going to eat better. What does that look like? Okay, I'm not going to eat as much junk food. I'm going to cut out sugar. You know, I'm going to eat whole vegetables and fruits, and I'm going to eat lean meat. So what does that look like? Is it attainable? And then R stands for, is it reasonable, right? Is it a reasonable goal? Is it something that you really want? If it's not something that you really want, but something that someone else wants for you, you're not going to do it, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then T is time. What does it look like? Are you going to set goals? Okay, by February 1st, I want to have lost 2 pounds. By March the 1st, I want to lose 2 more. So set some time limit, right? And then I like the smarter goal, which is the second R is go back. And sometimes we get off track and our goals change. So go back and re-examine. Is this goal still something that I want to go after? Right. And if there needs to be changes, then make changes. So those are my tips.
I was watching a reel on Instagram this morning, and he was talking about, you know, everybody's making New Year's resolutions, and a lot of people will say, well, I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
I want to lose weight. And that's not going to be an achievable goal.
It's not specific.
Yeah. And he was saying you need to spell out,
that's
like,
right.
I'm going to, you know, work out at the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to eliminate carbs from my diet or whatever.
That's
you know.
right. That's right.
And that just made a whole lot of sense, because a lot of times we do that. We say, well, I want to lose 50 pounds.
And that's so lofty, we can't get our arms around it, right? So even if setting it out, like you said, very specifically, and then setting out what is the smallest incremental step that I could take, right? And let that be your first goal. And if you're looking at it going, oh my gosh, Kim, now I've got this big long list. Well, then I would say choose your one big thing. What's the one big thing that you could change that would make a difference in your life? What's the one big thing? And that's what you should go for, right? And put it into incremental steps following that SMART platform. Is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it attainable? Is it realistic? And what's my time? What's my time frame? And then you can always go back and re-examine, maybe on a monthly basis. Is this still where I want to go? Am I still on track? Is there something that in this past month I've realized that particular thing doesn't work? Okay, so what would? So always be willing to go back and re-examine. So, but don't be so hard on yourself either, right? Let's not be so hard on ourselves. Any little incremental change at all is good.
Well, and he made the point of saying, instead of creating all these goals that you may or may not achieve, sometimes you just need to focus on the habit.
That's
Create
exactly right.
new habits. Because it's easier
really
to form a habit when you think of it that way.
That's right. Well, and we've all heard that it takes 21 days to create a new habit. That's not actually true. It actually takes, believe it or not, 63 days to create a habit.
Really?
It does. It takes 21 days to get that thought in your head, and then it takes the rest of that 42 more days to practice it. And that's when it becomes a brand new habit. That's when it becomes a habit. But you just have to keep practicing, right? And as we're practicing, you might fall off the wagon, right? Whatever you're doing, you may fall off the wagon. That's when you need to step back and take a new perspective, watch yourself from the outside, and say, okay, from a growth mindset point of view, I failed or I messed up here, but you know what? I can get right back up and I can start again, right? So don't think that it's over just because you have one bad day or one bad minute or even one bad week, right? Just get up, keep going, keep that growth mindset, and keep moving.
Definitely. Yeah, I saw Pat Summitt do a speech one time, and she said the 21 days, but that was Pat Summitt.
well, no. So there's research. I'll tell you someone that you should really look into. Her name is Dr. Caroline Leaf, and she has done over 30 years of research on this very thing. And she said that actually there was a plastic surgeon that came up with the 21-day thing, and it's just kind of stuck. But seriously, in her research, it takes 63 days. Which seems like a long time, but if you think about it, after you get that thought in your head, you just have to keep, the rest of the time, it's already there. You just have to keep reminding yourself of the new habit and catch yourself, right? When you can catch yourself doing what you no longer want to do, then you have a choice. Right. You have a choice in that moment of whether you want to do what what you've always done, or if you're going to step up, have courage, and do what you want to do, right? It just takes time. Yeah.
Okay.
So it starts in your head and your heart.
Well, it really does. And so why does someone come to a coach? Because maybe they don't have the resources they need to be able to do these things. And just, there are lots of resources that I use to be able to assess how someone is really showing up. So there's this way we see ourselves showing up in the world every day, right? And then there are a battery of assessments that I take a leader through so that they can see this is how everyone else sees you. This is how you see you. Let's lay those on top of each other and see where the gaps are, right? And then those are the things that I work with them on. And I let them choose. I mean, you are the master of your own life. It's not that I have all the answers on how to be the best, but what I can do is I can help you pull that from yourself because you have it in you. We just gotta pull it out, right? So that's really what I do as a coach.
Okay. Yeah. So if somebody is interested in reaching out to you for coaching, how do they get a hold of you?
So I am on all social media, and it's at Coach Kim Dudash, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can find me in any of those places, or you can come to my website. It's dudashexecutivecoaching.com. You can find me there.
No, you want to spell Dudash for everybody?
Yeah, it's Dudash, and it's all one word when you're looking for me on my website. It's Dudash Executive Coaching, no spaces.com. And so I made it real simple on social media at Coach Kim Dudash. It's very easy to find.
There you go.
Yeah, and when you go to my website or even social media, there is a button there that you can press to set up a complimentary meeting so that we can talk about it, and it's free. Talk about your goals or what you're wanting to accomplish. Find out a little bit more about me. I think it's very important to have what I call a discovery session where we make sure that our chemistry matches. If you're going to be spending time with someone and opening up, you got to make sure that you feel comfortable with them. So I would encourage anyone, if you want to, just reach out and set up an appointment.
Okay. So, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I do, actually. And I don't call them resolutions, I call them goals. One of my goals is to start a podcast. So, and to really dig deep within myself to figure out what it is that's holding me back from doing that, right? So that is one of my goals. And I've got some travel plans this year, so those are some of my goals. But yeah, I really stay away from the resolutions. I just set goals.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so let's switch gears for just a minute.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you and Brian's business.
Yes. So my husband, Brian, and I, we own and operate Dudash Farms. We are located in Jefferson County. We raise and sell grass-fed beef and pasture-raised pork. And we've been doing this for the past 16 years, and really as an aside to the other businesses that we have. But he has his consulting business, I have mine, and we do this together. And we really started it because we wanted to provide our family with good quality beef and pork, right? But especially during the pandemic, when it was difficult to find beef and pork in the grocery store, our business started to boom. And I think that's because people started to realize what they were purchasing, or they wanted to know where their food came from. We heard lots of horror stories. So we, like I said, it's grass-fed, grass-finished beef, no hormones, no antibiotics, very healthy. We know what goes into our food, and I'm telling you folks, whatever goes into your food is what goes into your body. And with our pigs, they're not fed junk. A lot of people, you have this image of people just feeding pigs whatever. We don't. We are very particular about what they eat, and they run around on the pasture. They're very happy. And they also get a dose of spent grain moonshine mash from Old Forge Distillery. We have an agreement with them, and that's actually something they love. All the alcohol's out of it, but it leaves a very high protein.
Sure,
yeah, right. Leaves a very high protein, what we call a protein shake that we feed our pigs. And by the way, with that partnership with Old Forge Distillery, if you've heard of Pottery House Cafe in Pigeon Forge. Mm-hmm. So they serve our pork in their restaurant on their menu. So it's sort of a sustainability full circle process that we have going on there. But so we sell at local farmers markets. There's a market in Dandridge called Martha's Market. Mm-hmm. They have our products there, and we sell directly off the farm. So you can call and make an appointment. And we both work basically from the home when we're not traveling. So you can come by and pick it up. Yeah,
so tell us a little bit about your Facebook Live.
Yeah, so weekly we do a Facebook Live from our Dudash Farms Facebook page, where we basically prepare meals or prepare dishes with our Dudash Farms product. And then we will share those, the recipes of those dishes in a newsletter that we send out monthly, if you want to subscribe to that. It's a lot of fun. Right now it's on Sunday nights at 6:45. We try to do it consistently at 6:45. Right now it's on Sunday nights. When farmers market season rolls around in April, we'll move it to Friday nights. And we do have a Dudash Farms YouTube page where all of those recordings are kept. As bad or as funny or whatever you want to say that they are, they're there. So if you want to go back and watch them, but for people who want to follow along with the recipe as we're doing it, you can do that. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah,
it looks really good. Some really good food. So.
Yeah, and I can say that I am a customer of Dudash Farms. I do need to come pay you another visit, but the meat is excellent.
Thank you.
Like there's no complaints whatsoever. So
yeah, I mean we have a lot of very faithful customers, and we have people who actually come from out of state. We don't ship right now because it's just so expensive to do that, but yeah, we do. It's good stuff.
All right. So, what's the Dudash Farms Facebook page?
Dudash Farms, yeah. So the website is dudashfarms.com. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, and it's basically at Dudash Farms, all one word. And again, that's DUDASH. So yeah,
all right,
exciting. And thank you for helping us focus on small businesses, because in this area we really do have some great businesses.
We do. And I mean, one of the things that sparked this for me was that, the economy is not doing as well as it has the past few years. And usually your small and local businesses are the first ones to feel that struggle because, that's just the way it works. So my thought was, if we're going into a bad economic year, let's promote our local and small businesses, because a lot of them, they may be a great accountant and they have no idea how to market themselves because they're not a marketer. That may be a great little jewelry shop, but they have no idea how to market themselves. So.
Or they have no budget to really market themselves, like a Target or a,
Exactly.
So, so you guys, Amy's doing her part, Kim's doing her part. We got to go out and we got to support these small businesses. So, we've got so many beautiful businesses downtown Morristown.
Yes.
Go on the chamber website, look at all the businesses that are there, right, and support. Yeah,
That's right.
it's wonderful.
So, all right, so we will have a new guest next week, and we're probably going to be doing these on Wednesday afternoons, so stay tuned for that. Again, I'm Amy Schrader with Remax Real Estate 10.
And I'm Kim Swan with Union Home Mortgage.
And we want to thank Kim Dudash for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.